the program. The PUM program has taken on board the existing Pacific Handbook on gender equity and social inclusion in coastal fisheries and aquaculture, which is the first Pacific-specific handbook that provides very practical and hands-on guidance to fisheries practitioners in the region. We have created a very engaging and inclusive process to create a second edition. The second edition really complements the existing handbook, which is to add on very key areas of fisheries that are very relevant for the Pacific. This is coastal fisheries management, livelihoods, and engaging with communities. These topics were really selected based on priority areas for our Pacific island countries, and it was really nice to see that we had a lot of engagement from national staff in fisheries divisions. We also worked in a very cross-divisional manner within SPC, using our human rights and gender experts, and working very closely with our fisheries team. We also included a lot of our NGOs and civil society organizations who participated in writing workshops to provide more input. What is different in the second edition, we have really tried hard to include more toolkits. So there's very practical tools that are attached to the modules, which is, for example, checklists for field research, for field work. This is something that came up in a lot of training, that fisheries practitioners actually asked for more tools to help. Also something that we tried to do in the 3 additional modules is to link gender and social inclusion more to the human rights, looking at it from a human rights-based approach without shifting the focus on gender and social inclusion.
On the 8th of March, for International Women's Day, the Pacific community will be launching the second edition of the Pacific Handbook for Gender Equity and Social Inclusion in Coastal Fisheries and Aquaculture. This handbook provides guidance to practitioners and managers, especially Pacific Island government fisheries and aquaculture staff, on how to incorporate gender equity and social inclusion into their work. And this is important because Pacific Island women, for example, work along fisheries value chains and contribute to around half of the annual coastal fisheries catch in the Pacific. And however, despite these contributions, women and other marginalized groups are still underrepresented in decision-making around fisheries and aquaculture, and they have challenges accessing natural resources, training and support. There is growing recognition that fisheries management and aquaculture projects will fail if we do not consider the role and contribution of both women and men. What is exciting is that managers and practitioners want to be gender and socially inclusive in their work, but they don't know quite what that means. They don't know what approaches they can use, and they don't know how they will measure success. And the reason for this is that many of us did not receive training at university or through our jobs. So it's unfair in a way to expect many of us working in fisheries and aquaculture to apply gender and socially inclusive approaches if we've not received any training. This handbook is a really big and important step towards addressing this real need and this real gap. Happy International Women's Day 2021.
Happy International Women's Day.